Welcome back to Perfect World Post-Production, where last time I built this wonderful addition to our repurposed oil platform, then promptly left it empty and built in the building next door instead. But today we will actually be putting some farms inside this new building as we expand our mega factory to produce a bunch more blocks. And I even made a small list of things I want to do today to get us started. And we're going to start off with a couple of very simple things. We need some stone and some smooth stone, and then we can start moving on to things that take a bit more processing. But before we do any of that, I need to fix these solar panels because, yeah, I kind of didn't notice this when I built this building, but it has been pointed out to me in the comments that these are now getting blocked by this building. So I'm just going to flip them over the other way, which, yes, means they're not pointing south anymore, but they'll still get more sun than they will by pointing at this building. Let's just rotate them that way instead. In order to build some farms today, we're going to need to go collect some stuff. Mostly lots and lots of create-based items. So let's grab some shafts and girders, some blocks of industrial iron. They'll probably come in handy. We might even need some volts. Who knows? And I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of the stuff that we've got here for now. I don't know exactly what we're going to need yet, so I'm just going to grab a bit of everything, I think. All right, let's get started. And I'm thinking these first two that we want, stone and smooth stone, I may as well do those over here in this building, because if I remember correctly, we've still got, yes, look at that. We've got a bunch of space up here still. Start by extending the power this way. I think I'm going to leave a gap between these machines here. We can start by just chucking a clutch in there, a couple of gearboxes to make sure we've got it going the right way, because that's what we've done here basically. So I'm assuming we're going to need the same thing. Then we're going to need fans in here, then belts across the front. We're basically building exactly the same thing we built a few times last episode, so I'll just quickly fly through this. And a few minutes later, we've got two more rows of stuff cooking. That's cooking our cobble down into stone, and then we're cooking half of that into smooth stone. And once again, I've done the same thing we did last episode. I've just linked it up down here to the storage. We've got our threshold switches on the back. So with that, I think we're ready to go start building in the other building. So we can tick those two off. Now, to make terracotta, we need to cook clay, I think. To make glass, we need to cook sand. To make soul sand, we need to haunt sand, I believe. Then we can wash that to get quartz. We can use the quartz to make the diorites. But I think in order to make andesite, granite, and tuff, we're probably going to use the recipes that utilize lava. And we don't have a lava supply over here yet, so that's something we're going to need to tackle in future. For now, though, I think I'm going to focus mostly on the terracotta, because although, yes, terracotta is just cooking clay, there's actually a whole bunch of terracotta, because, of course, we have all the different colored versions, and we have the glazed ones. We're not going to worry about automating the glazed ones, obviously. I mean, I rarely use them. But all of these colored ones, I think it'll be nice to get those on the go. So let's start just by cooking up a whole bunch of the clay blocks into terracotta, and then we'll work out how we're going to go about dyeing it all. Now, as always, the first thing we're going to need in this room is power. So where are we going to grab that from? Guess what we could do is just grab from here, and we can just do that, and we have power. And we'll worry about connecting in the storage later, but that looks like that's going to be fairly easy as well, because we've got a nice run of trim right here. Now, I'm just thinking, when it comes to terracotta, it does actually get used for making other things, such as red sand. Oh, there's a thunderstorm outside. Let's quickly sleep. We don't need that kind of background noise. So, as I was saying, terracotta is used to make other things, such as red sand, which is a nice building material. But more importantly, red sand is used to make gold nuggets. And of course, we're going to get gold nuggets as a byproduct of the quartz. But this area here, where we can turn red sand into gold nuggets, that means we're going to need a reasonable amount of terracotta. So I think what I might do is make a few rows here that are going to be cooking the terracotta, and then we'll figure out the dyeing afterwards. So we're just going to build a row of cookers, I think. And a few minutes later, there we go. The belts are filling up with clay. That's going to get cooked into terracotta. Just going to wait for that to turn. We can set the filters, and then we just need to set up storage and the redstone link over here. In fact, we can probably do that now as well. So we just need a link set to receive. Need some terracotta for a filter. Let's do that. Also need to set the filters at this end. Ow. Ow. Then we'll just quickly set up the storage over here. There we go. The clay is being turned into terracotta incredibly quickly, which does make me think we might need to be producing more clay at some point in future. But to be honest, we don't need anywhere near as many stacks of bricks as we're currently producing, so I could probably lower this by quite a lot. So now we're making clay down here. What I want to do is work out where we're going to dye it. And I was going to do that up here, but I've just had a thought. Because we have liquid dyes, we can actually just bulk color things. And it's not like I'm going to want tens of thousands of these blocks. I probably only just want like one storage drawer full, which would give me a couple of thousand of each color. So with that in mind, I'm wondering if I actually hold off on dyeing the terracotta at the moment and actually just build a facility somewhere else on the rig that all it does is take items and dye them, because that way I can just have a row of dyeing machines, all 16 colors, and using Create's new stock management system and logistics stuff, I can probably just request that it sends things over there to get dyed when they're needed. Because otherwise I'm going to need a row of 16 dye machines for terracotta, I'm going to need another 16 for glass, I'm going to need another 16 for wool, and so on. Well, actually, I'm not going to need the ones for wool because we have a wool farm, but my point still stands. I don't want to be duplicating all those dyeing machines if I can help it. So with that in mind, I think what I'm actually going to do, because these cookers down here are way too effective for the amount of clay that we're producing, I'm actually going to convert some of these. And I think I'm just going to convert the two on the end here to actually make glass instead of clay. I just need sand. I need to change these filters. Oh, no, don't go in there, Beardy. Oh, geez, I'm nearly dead. Okay, right, I need to get that feeding upgrade on my backpack. I do have space for it now, I just haven't got round to it. And I won't get caught out like that with low health. Right, where were we? Yes, sand filters. That's going to make glass for us. We'll just wait for some to convert, then set the filters. And I guess that also means we're going to need to rejig the power over here a little bit, because we're going to need to separate the glass from the terracotta, and I can do that just by removing that one. Set the glass filters there. Then we can just put a clutch here with a gearbox on top. Redstone link for glass. Oh, set that to receive. And now we just need somewhere to store this stuff. There we go. So that's going to bring all of our glass in. And if you notice, we're still not making enough clay to fill up these belts. So I could potentially grab this lava here. Let's rotate these round. Soul campfires down here instead. Set these ones to sand as well. And then that's going to make us soul sand. And once again, I am going to need to split this off. So let's just do that. Grab another clutch. Tell you what, this is a nice modular system, this. It works well. I'm a bit concerned that this redstone thing is going to trigger this one, though, so I'm actually going to remove that. And we'll stick the terracotta one on the other side. And that leaves us enough space to put the soul sand one there. Let's just go sort out the filters. And some storage. All right, looking good. Soul sand is coming in. We are absolutely hammering it through this list of things to do today. That's glass and soul sand done. I guess up here we can do quartz and then move on to diorite. That should work fine. I think what I'm going to do is just another one of those machines. I mean, I'll tell you what, because we've got the storage drawers here and we can just connect to a centralized system and then pull things out again, these farms are very easy to make. Basically, just every time you want a new one, you stick down another module and it's wonderful. The downside to that is it's a little bit repetitive, so let's quickly skip to us actually having quartz. So the quartz is now in, but we have a problem. We have a lack of sand. So, I think I'm going to expand this row of crushing wheels here. There we go. It's looking a little bit more cramped in here, but we're going to be making a bunch more sand. And it is still on 0, but we've got a lot more sand running through. So, once these things start to back up a bit, that will then build up as well. Worst case scenario, we'll just add more grinding wheels and so on further down the line. But we have our quartz coming in. That means we can now start making diorite. Oh, and thinking about it, what I can actually do with the quartz is, instead of having it in that box there, is I should probably put the quartz into compacting drawers, because then we'll actually get quartz blocks as well. It does mean I'm going to need to redo the threshold switch here. That's the quartz done. Next on our list is diorite. I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do for this one. We're actually going to fly all the way back to our starter area, and I think it's about time we turn off this platform and just reclaim some of the things here. I mean, I've got some mechanical crafters, but I'm going to need more. But we're not going to need the farms over here anymore because we're rebuilding things over on the oil rig, and I could really do with these components. Mostly the mechanical crafters and the smart chutes. I'm running low. Right, well, I've reclaimed a whole bunch of components from over here, including lots of these draw controllers, because I was running out of them as well. So hopefully we've got what we need to actually go make this quartz farm. Nope, diorite farm. We've already done the quartz, Beardy. Alrighty, so this diorite farm, what do we need to do? We're going to need a row of belts first. We're going to do exactly the same thing we did last time, so we're just going to have a bunch of mechanical crafters here, alternating what belt they drop their finished products onto. We're going to push the results into there. We're going to have the inputs come from this side, and we're also going to need inputs at the top, of course. So we've got chutes on top with belts on top of those. These brass funnels here will let out quartz from one and cobble from the other. Then we just need input funnels on all of these bits here. That's good. Now we just need to power the belts. And I want to make sure that this power is separate from the power we've already used. We want to make sure that they're not attached to each other. What I might need to do is actually run a whole new power line down to the bottom here. Run this up the wall here. Then we need a clutch in there. Rotate one of those round and a gearbox. So if we do cobble, then cobble there, then quartz on that one and on that one there. And all I need to do is get these bits here connected up, and that should start feeding through. Oh, I need to block the ends. We're going to need to block these ends as well, so let's just do that. And then I just need to get the top drawers connected. And lastly, get the mechanical crafters powered. I think we can do that by just bringing the power over to here, sticking that in, and then adding a bunch of cogs. Alter those for diorite, and go create more storage. That was nice and easy. So that's storage done. Diorite is coming in. I just need to set the link up on the farm itself. We'll just chuck that in here, set it to diorite, and set it to receive. There we go. So let's tick off diorite, andesite. Don't we make that just from diorite and cobble, maybe? Or we can do it with gravel and flint and lava, which I think might be my preferred method. Just because we do actually have lots of flint that we're not using, so it makes sense to actually do something with it. The problem is we don't have a supply of lava over here, so I think we need to build a building maybe to actually import lava. And then once we've got the lava, we can make andesite, and we're also going to need that to make things like tuff and other bits and bobs as well, so it's probably a good idea just to get that done now. So I think what I'm going to do maybe is build another small building here, just something to hold a backup supply of lava, but also to connect to the nether and probably just import it via buckets through the portals like we did over at the other farm. I don't think I want to make an infinite lava pool over here, so yeah, we'll just do the importing thing instead. But to make another building, we're going to need some new blocks, and we're also going to need lots and lots of copper, because we're going to need to make tanks and pipes and things like that. And I don't think we've actually got that many tanks here at the moment. No, we've got none whatsoever. So we're going to need to make a bunch of barrels, and we're going to need to flatten a bunch of copper. And I'll tell you what, we haven't got as much copper as I thought. So let's just cook up the raw copper we do have. And we're going to flatten a bunch of that. We'll keep some of it just as normal copper just in case. But we did already have 40 fluid tanks in our backpack, as well as pumps and pipes. But 40 tanks is not going to be anywhere near enough. So I think I've got an idea of color palettes. We've got lots of dark prismarine pillar here. This is all of the dark prismarine we managed to get from the deep ocean monument thing, as well as what I could craft on top of that. So hopefully that's going to be enough. I don't know. It's not a lot. But I've also picked up some granite. We've, of course, got our tanks. So I guess the only thing to do is head back over there, probably have a quick sleep, and then make a start. And once we've got the building in place, we'll sort out getting lava from the nether. I want to make sure I've got somewhere to store it first. And I think I'm just going to drop another building down right next to this one. We've got the stairs here, which I kind of want to keep. So I guess we're going to be setting this building back a little bit. I think at the front here, what I want to do is have a bunch of tanks just kind of on the exterior of the building, and then maybe we'll sit the building itself behind it. Maybe a platform that sort of size will be big enough for the tanks in the building. I mean, it doesn't need to be massive, does it? We're just going to get this floor in using a mixture of stone and eroded tuff, something like that. And then I'm thinking tanks maybe here and there, or maybe 2 rows. Would that be too much? Because we could do something like that and then put the building itself in just along this bit. Something like that, maybe? I don't think it needs to be any more than that, does it? Problem is, I don't think I've got anywhere near enough tanks here. So I think I want them to be maybe like that high. And I've got 2 tanks left. I guess my question is, what do we need to wash to get copper nuggets? Or what do we need to crush? Iridium, of course. Dripstone in this pack, because I do have Stam's tweaks on, so we don't get all the things from tuff, because tuff is renewable. The Stam's tweaks just makes things a little bit trickier. So to get dripstone, we're going to need lava. Of course we do. Lava, cobblestone, and granite. So in future we can do this, but right now, I think there's only one thing for it. Cue the mining music. Well, we managed to get almost 2,000 raw copper from that mining trip. Let's get this cooked up. We're just going to need lots of wood for this, because we're going to need a whole load of barrels. And in a few minutes, once all the copper's been flattened, we'll be able to make a bunch more tanks and crack on with the building. And there we go. That's all of the tanks in. And next up, let's just get the building in. And I'm just going to do a big green square for now. And we're pretty much out of prismarine pillars, so it's going to be this tool. I've topped it off with the reinforced spruce log. How does that look? Yeah, color-wise, it looks fine. I think I want to have it sticking out, though, so let's just jam a bunch of these on here. And then what I want to do is pipe this into the building. So if we put pipes there like that with a copper casing, and then the ones at the back, maybe we just go a little bit higher. Go in there. Yeah, that could look quite good. Okay, we're making progress. I think I want to wrap a fence around these, though, which is why I left the gap. And I've got an idea for this fence, which is why I have these copycat cogwheels. So I want to see if I can make it look like there's sort of barbed wire or something on top. So let's just try it out. So we want a double height fence, then cogwheels with stone in them. I mean, it looks a bit barbed wiry. It's quite chunky barbed wire. But from back here, I think it gives the effect I want. Let's just get the rest of it in and see how we're looking. I think we're almost there, but I don't like the way this connects at the top here, or doesn't connect, I should say. I wonder, maybe we could use shafts and girder? That work? We did something like that. Oh, that looks even worse. Look at that. What a mess. Let's just stick with the walls. Now, although that's going to be plenty of space to import the lava, I don't really like the way it's looking. I feel like it needs another big sort of chunk on top. So how about these granite blocks? Let's build a big square thing with these. It's going to be at a different level to the building over here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. We can probably do something with that to make it look good. How about something that sort of size? Guess we won't know until we build it up higher. Then let's maybe top this off with a bit of diorite. How does that look size-wise? Yeah, that's better. Looks a bit unsupported, though, so maybe we should get some big girders in down here. We'll chuck a floor in on the overhang. Then we'll fill in this bit of roof with some moss. And I wonder, maybe we should connect this up to the top here. Is it going to fit? Not quite. Maybe we need to put an angle in it. Maybe something like that. And then we should get here at a reasonable spot. Yep, that's much better. Handrails in. And I want to cover up the top of these logs, so we're just going to do that with some moss carpets. But how do we get onto this roof to be able to get onto that roof? Maybe we could put a little walkway around the front here. Yeah, this could work quite nicely. Let's just do that. Oh, no, not that. Want the catwalk in here. Then some fences. Handrails, I should say. And maybe I should just continue this round. How does that look? Yep, I like it, but this looks very plain and boring. Maybe we need some giant windows in there. I guess I'm probably going to just have another moss roof up here, so let's quickly get this bit in, and then we'll finish off the windows. So let's frame the windows with some polished granite, just because it looks a bit different. Maybe we'll just ever so slightly curve them in the corners here. And I did bring with me some weathered windows, and I think that's what we're going to use here. And we're just going to alternate panes and blocks to give it a bit of depth. Yes, coming along. I like it, although this gap here, I'm not too keen on. I wonder, can we connect the tops of the buildings, maybe? Well, I say the top, I guess it's kind of halfway down, really, isn't it? Where would it come out in here? Okay. Maybe we could have, like, a little walkway across here? Maybe just a little something like this. Then we could jam in some iron bars for safety. Then on the inside of this building, we could have a little walkway that then turns into stairs and goes down. And on this side, maybe we could squeeze a walkway in along this wall. Some stairs and some handrails. Yeah, that's good. I like that. We'll need some kind of doorway down here to actually get into the place. Maybe we could just do some more stairs up. How's it looking? Yeah, the little cagey thing actually works quite nicely. It's not too overpowering, but it does the job of connecting things a little bit better. So I guess the only thing left to do is maybe get a couple of windows in the side of this, stick some fans and things to it, and just get it looking a little bit better. Let's get that done, and then we can start working out how we're actually going to import the lava on the inside. Short while later, and I think we're looking pretty good. We managed to get the top sorted. I'm probably going to have some solar panels or something up here in future, but not right now, because right now what we need to do is actually import the lava, get it over to here, and work out what we're going to do on the inside. And I think what I want to do is to have all the lava go into this tank, and then from this tank we'll pump it out. And we're going to connect it to these tanks here. I think we're just going to connect them on this side of the wall like this. Then that's going to fill up all 6 of those lava tanks. And then when we need lava, we can just take it out underneath, take it under the floor, because we do, of course, have the sort of cavity space here, and get it into the buildings we need it. Feel like that's going to be the best way to do things here. So first things first, I need to build a portal, which I'm probably going to put up against this wall here. And then we're going to need to work out the system to offload the lava, which should be fairly straightforward. But what might be more difficult is setting things up on the nether side. But I'm going to need a bunch of obsidian, I'm going to need a flint and steel, and to be honest, I'm going to need some space. We're getting pretty full up over here. Right, so first up, let's get a nice big portal in. I mean, it doesn't need to be big, but I might as well fill the space a little bit. Then let's go see where we end up. And I think this is probably the block I've got the most of, should I need to suddenly build myself a shelter. Oh, yep. Suddenly building myself a shelter is definitely what we're going to do. This is not a good place. Quite close to our other portals as well, isn't it? So the first thing I need to do is check these chunk borders, because when something comes through the portal, it loads a 3x3 area of chunks. So that means I need to make sure that we can get to a lava lake somewhere in one of these 9 chunks. It's not looking very good so far, is it? Oh. Look at that. That one square there should be enough. So before we make our way down to that lava lake, let's make ourselves a nice safe area, just so we can avoid all these bouncy flame boys. They're not very friendly. Right, so we've got a kind of safe area. What I need to do is connect up to that lava lake. So I should probably empty this one first to make my life a little bit easier. And then we need to dig down here, I think. Yep, that looks about right to me. So let's get this wound all the way down to the bottom of that lake. And then we just need to route a pipe over to our platform over there, and we can do exactly what we did previously. Basically build a little system that's going to take lava out of the lake below us, fill up some buckets, and then send them through to the overworld. So that's the pump where it needs to be. Let's just get a tube all the way over where we need this to be, which is over there. So over here, we want to take the bucket. We want to send it this way so it gets filled back up. Then we want to send it back this way, and then straight back into the portal. And let's link that one to there, then there, and there. And we need to make sure the buckets coming through the portal land on the belt, so that's what this blocker should do. What I'm going to do is throw an item through the portal there. Then we're going to go use our other portal. Hide the chunk borders, we don't need those anymore. And we want to see what side that came out over here. Ah, I see. So I think what's happening here is I need to build on the other side of the portal in the nether, potentially. Let's do a better test. If we put belts down there, then I throw an item through, hopefully that'll land on a belt. If it doesn't, then yes, we are going to need to flip this. It has not landed on a belt. And if I throw something from this side, it still doesn't land on a belt. Right, okay, let's just get it all powered up and set up, and then we'll see what happens. If we do have to change what side of the portal we build this on, it's not the end of the world. So we're going to need power. For that, we have our water wheels, which are, of course, going to be lava. So now we just need to connect this power. Right, that's all the belts set up. Let's just launch something through and see where it ends up. All the way over there, so that tells me that this is going to work just fine. But if we just build a small wall like that, next time we throw something through, it should land right there. Let's find out, shall we? Yep, perfect. Now, what we want to do once it's on this side is send the buckets this way. And once again, just have the buckets going in a big loop. This time with a drain and a pump. Should still have some of those. Yep, there we go. Now we need to get power over this side. So we can connect to power right here. Setting that up. And into this belt. Just need a vertical gearbox. There we go. And that's going the right way. Fantastic. So let's just get all of this powered. Right, there we go. Everything is going around the right way. So now all I need to do is put a spout on here. Get that connected. And then I need to power that pump over there, which hopefully shouldn't be too difficult. We'll just run a shaft out to here, chuck a cog on there, and hopefully that's going to start pumping lava. Yep, here it comes. And then I've got 14 buckets, so let's chuck just one on there for now. That bucket should come back any moment. Yep, there it goes. Wonderful. Well, there does seem to be a random block going around as well. Let me just grab that off of the belt. There we go. Right, so now lots of lava going through, and our tank's starting to fill up. Wonderful. So what I then want to do, though, is pump this lava over into these tanks. So I guess I need to get the power all the way up here. So let's maybe sneakily do that over the back here. Those in, and one of them. And the lava's going across, and it should start filling up these tanks. Excellent. We now have an infinite supply of lava coming through. Excellent. So I left myself AFK while I was just doing a bit of editing there, and we now have all of these vats completely full up by the looks of it. That's looking pretty good from the outside too. Wonderful. So now what we can do is actually make the andesite, and I think we're going to do that over here. Actually thinking about it, I might be able to get away with doing the andesite in this bit here, and then that leaves space over here for maybe tuff or something else. Who knows? So let's think about this. What we're going to need to do is pump lava into basins. We're going to need a place for the basins to drop off and feed things back into the system, but we also need to feed things into the basins. So both of these belts need to go that way. We've got our clutch in, so we'll be able to turn this farm off independently. If we do that, there we go. Both the belts are going in the correct direction. But we actually need to feed two things into these basins. So I think what we're also going to need to do is use chutes at an angle like that, and then have another belt on top that can feed in the flint, because then we can have flint coming in there, gravel coming in there, lava coming in the bottom, and andesite coming out the front. I think that's the way we're going to do it. And maybe sort of that many. That way we can sort of tie it in with what's going on over here. Do I have any more framed trim? I do. Wonderful. But I don't seem to have my draw controllers with me, so I'm going to have to run back and get those. But we'll just be able to put a draw controller on here that will collect everything. In fact, we're probably going to have one less just to give space for the funnel. Then we can get chutes along all of these. Extend that belt out. And we do need to get that belt some power, so let's just send that up. There we go. Then we need mechanical mixers on top of these bits, because they'll actually work through the chutes and still be able to mix the stuff in the basin. And we just need some cogs to power those. So I guess going in here is going to be the easiest thing to do. We can just add a cog there and there. Alrighty, now we just need to pump the lava in. And we'll block the end off there. We do need to put lots of funnels in here, actually, don't we? What do we got? Andesite funnel should do the trick. Just want to feed those in there. And we also need to connect the framed trim over the top here, there and there. And while we've still got access to the clutch, we should probably set this up, which means I need to go get myself some andesites, but I also need to go grab the draw controller things as well. So let's quickly grab those, and we should be able to get this finished off. Okay, so let's set the andesite filter there, draw controller there, a brass funnel. I should probably disconnect that actually until I actually figure out what it is we're putting in here. Let's go with flint, which does mean I'm now going to need to empty all of these bowls, because they're going to have a bunch of random stuff in them. Going to want another draw controller up here, which is going to take out gravel. Then we can just connect these drawers up to the system, start loading those things. Let's just quickly put a block there to stop that from throwing things all over the place. So we've now got flint and gravel in these basins. We just need to get the lava in. It's going to be easy enough. What I'm going to do is just run a pipe over this way. Continue running that pipe down the wall here. Then we're just going to connect up to all of these tanks from below. We'll chuck a pump in there, make sure that's going the right way. Then we just need a cog, and that should be just about it. Here comes the lava. So we're basically there, except I've accidentally put mixers in instead of compacting presses. So yeah, let's just quickly get those changed out, and then we'll actually start making andesites. Silly Beardy. I have presses with me. I'm sure I just grabbed a bunch of random stuff. Yep, 14 mechanical presses. Perfect. That'll be plenty. And there we go. Now we're making andesite. Perfect. We just need to collect it. And we need to give it a home in storage. Right, there we go. Andesite has a home. But it has occurred to me, I don't think I set the redstone link down here to receive. So we're just going to quickly take these bits out. Get that turned over. Put everything back in. And we're done. Andesite farm. Excellent. Now, when it comes to tuff, I don't think this is going to be enough space for it, because tuff is also used to make zinc, which means we're going to need quite a large tuff farm. Unless we just make tuff for building over here, I don't really know yet. When it comes to making granite, there's once again a couple of ways we can do it. I don't know what route I actually want to take yet. And I also need to get this episode out. So I think this is where we're going to wrap up for today. But we've made some pretty awesome progress. We've got a bunch more farms in. We completed most of our lists. And we've expanded our oil rig even further. And this is starting to look pretty cool now. But I definitely want to get some taller things going on in the background. It's starting to look a little bit flat. And of course, we've got a bunch of stuff we still need to add to these roofs. But I might actually just stick more buildings on them. So yeah, don't really want to go adding that stuff just yet. But if you have made it all the way to the end here and you haven't done so yet, please do click that subscribe button. And don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and do all that good stuff that YouTube likes. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.